I used to wonder if my story really mattered. Maybe you felt that too. Like your experience was too messy, too personal, or not far enough along to share. But here's what I've learned. Your story is your superpower. It's not just what you've been through, it's how you got through it. And when you know how to tell that story with purpose, you don't just inspire, you connect, you serve, and you start making the impact you were born to make. That's why I created Becoming a Storyteller and Creating Impact. It's a self-paced course to help you craft your story, speak with confidence, and start using your voice to truly make a difference. Whether you're a new coach, a speaker, or someone who just knows they were meant for more, this is your starting point. It's going to change how you see yourself and your story. Check out the link in the podcast notes and get registered today. Don't wait to make a difference. What if the life you're living no longer matches the dream you once had? What if alignment required you to take a leap of faith, even if it meant stepping into the unknown? Today's guest, Angela Johnson, is going to share her story of listening to that quiet inner nudge, trusting the process, and choosing a path of purpose, even when it meant leaving behind everything familiar. Thank you so much for joining me, Angela. I'm excited for our listeners to hear your story. I was so inspired because you took a jump that not very many people would take. So thank you for joining me on It's Your Story to Tell. I'm the host here, Megan Babcock. Angela, I'm going to let you just jump in. Tell us a little bit about who you are. And we met because you are also a nurse coach.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk about my story. It was a last quick 6 months that got me kind of here, and I'm excited to share it now that it feels normal to me. It's very exciting and very unbelievable the more I talk about it and share it. I really think it will help people get unstuck and believe, that taking the change, making the change and taking the step will really pay off, and you will feel so much better, from the inside out in more ways than you can realize.
Awesome. Why don't you start with where you are? Because that's a little bit unbelievable. And then after that, go back and tell us about how you ultimately got there. I want listeners to hear just how big of a change you were willing to make.
So, surprise, I'm in Greece. I am on a tiny island, the Cycladic Island in Greece, and I've been here for 4 months now. This all started back in July when my daughter at the time wanted us to plan a trip to go to Greece in 1 month for her eighth birthday. And we found ourselves saying the normal American, middle class, always grinding answer of, we can't do that. You can't go to Greece for your 8th birthday. I've never been to Greece. It seemed like such a dream destination and some place we never thought we'd be able to go. And then the more we sat with saying no to her, the more we thought about why not? Why can't that be a life we live? Why can't we up and go? What's keeping us here? And my husband went down the rabbit hole first, and he said we should move. Let's just go see what it's like.
Not just like, let's take a birthday trip. We're going to move there.
I'm in. So you kind of sit down and really take a look at what's keeping you somewhere, what's benefiting you, what are you taking from the environment you're in? And we realized our list was very short and we weren't happy if you boiled down to our day-to-day and how busy we felt and how disconnected we felt with each other, our children, our immediate family, friends you plan on seeing, and then months and months go by. I was working nights as a nurse, so that whole idea of I'm making more money on nights, so it'll pay off, I'm doing it for a reason, I'm not sleeping, I'm not healthy, my husband and I see each other in passing, I'm not there some nights for my kids. It felt worth it until I took a step back and said, there's a really different way that I could make work for my family. The payoff was so much more than I could have imagined.
Wow.
And
so
what got me here?
Yeah.
So twofold. I think it's believing that with my nursing background, I have the skills to do other things. I think it's easy in nursing to get set in, you have to be at the bedside. If it's not medical, you don't have any skills outside of speaking about medicine or working with medicine or dealing with sick patients. So then learning what we call our nursing soft skills, the stuff we do in the day to day, in the background, the interpersonal skills, the management skills, the tasks, the organizing, all the stuff you do without realizing it. I bettered myself and I put that into a virtual assisting business. Because I'm a nurse, I tend to market towards other healthcare professionals who need help with their businesses, still helping people. But I get to reach so many more people because it's across the country. So it really helped me believe in I can make money doing this. I can step away from the bedside and still feel like I'm giving help to people and I'm still using the skills that I have to do what I love doing, but just in a different way. And that's the little piece my husband needed. He was all on board until it was like, let's sell the house, let's sell the cars, everything must go. He's like, wait a minute, how are we going to make money? Like, I take it back. He tried to take it back. And I said, no, I'm all in now. The visa is made, like, we are going. But he really wanted, honestly, to step back and say, well, can we actually make money? It's fun to talk about, but can this be something that we can fund and make possible? Because he was raised on you need your 401k, you work till you retire, you have to save, you have to work. It's hard, but that's normal. So to get him to step away from adding to his retirement, right now he's not working. It's just me making this a reality for us. I always say, like, I got you to Greece, I got you here, but in reality, it's the support of each other, but believing that we can do anything and we can do this together. So virtual assisting got me here, and nurse coaching, is gonna keep me here. That's what I say.
Well, I love what you're saying because so many times we get very focused on the here, the now. This is all I know how to do. So I have to keep doing this, even when I'm miserable. And I think people can think about that in their work and how their relationships are, the way they parent, all of these different things that we do on a daily basis that we're not happy about, but we don't feel that there's any other option. And so we stay stuck and we commiserate. And so then you're talking about how unhappy things are and how you don't like this. And oh, I wish I had the ability to do this. And yet then it doesn't go any further than that. And I know that was even part of my own story when I left my corporate job. I'm a nurse, but I had been in a lot of different roles, not in the hospital. So I had been able to see that my skills were transferable into other areas, but then I just got so comfortable in where I was at and I knew how to succeed in that and I knew how to climb the ladder. So doing something different felt really scary. And I remember having a conversation with a coach that I was working with. I knew that I was called to more and I wanted to be helping people in a different way, more aligned with my values and more directed by me than building someone else's dream and making them successful with all the work that I was putting in. But I remember saying, I can't quit my job because I make too much money. I've got K matching. I've got all of these things. And so I got a little push for me. God was saying, this is what I want you to do. And that was to come alongside of other people who were really stuck in these hard places, all of the false narratives, limiting beliefs that was keeping them there and help them to do what they thought was not possible. Well, if you're going to help people do that, you got to go first.
Yep.
And I wasn't ready, but I got laid off. And with that comes severance and all of these things. And I really felt this voice that said, you have a choice. You either do what you're called to do. You have the finances you were worried about to go and start this, or you can just keep doing the same thing over and over and not live the dream that's in your heart. And what I realized was, wow, okay, I have a choice. I can keep doing this. And sometimes we don't like to acknowledge our choice because that means we're choosing to be unhappy and not fulfilled, right? If we say we have choice. So I think for me, that was a really big pivotal moment Tell me about that for you, that moment that you're like, I have a choice.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the power of choice, because once you do realize it doesn't have to be this way, you're like, oh my God, what else am I choosing to do that I don't really enjoy? And probably a big moment for me was when either I read or I heard, but somehow I remember hearing, choose your hard. Everything's hard. So why not pick the hard that leads to something good and something that you actually want to do and a life that you choose? So the whole idea of choice comes back. So then it brings you back to your why. So, learning how to live in a new country, hard, but if it's a hard that gets you somewhere that you want to be and you can see that light and that why is driving you, it's a hard I happily woke up and tackled every day. And while some days were harder than others, like I said, selling a house, challenging, no matter what the circumstances, giving away all our stuff. Once we did the first junk run and we looked around, like we already feel so much better. Like we don't need any of this stuff. And even that's hard for people to realize. It's like, well, I worked so hard to get all this stuff. What do you mean, like, give it away, sell it, and live with less? Even that whole concept of letting go of possessions is hard to come to terms with. So even the little steps, get rid of this. We don't need this. What does this look like? Was when it started not to hit, but to propel. So every day I took a step that pushed me forward to the next day. And in the time of Instagram, it's easy to kind of see it in other people's lives and be like, that's going to be me one day. So when you need a little push of, can I really do this? It's like, they're doing it. They sold their stuff. It's possible to live in another country. I may feel crazy, but there's other crazies out there waiting for me. I'm going to go join them. We had a safe community. We have family. And we say if nothing works out for us, America will be here. Our families will be here. We've be welcome to welcoming arms. So when you think about the choice, it's like, what is there really to fear? We're not going to try it and hate it. Whether we try it and it's not forever, it's still time we chose to spend time together as a family, doing what we knew we needed, right? We didn't know we needed to walk stairs every day and walk our kids to and from school and go on lunch dates every day. But it's oh so wonderful. I never wanted to live on an island. Look at me now. I didn't want to live near water.
Never say never.
I know. Oh, that's what my dad says. He was like, well, when I heard you were moving to Greece, I believed you because I've seen you do never. And I was like, oh, when you put it like that, like I've seen you do never. Now I don't doubt when you tell me you're going to do anything because I've seen you do it.
Wow, that's so powerful. What I love about nevers is there was a fear there, or there was a reason that you were saying that wasn't possible, because that's what never said. But I believe we are limitless, that we are the ones who stand in our own way of really being able to do anything that we desire. And one of the things that I really love is seeing people follow their dreams. And I love how you're like, there's other people out there doing these crazy things. Because when you can surround yourself with others who are like minded, it does make it easier to do something when you don't feel like you're the only one doing it. So I love that you brought that out, and the aspect of, one, you're the sum of, like, I think they say about the five people closest to you. So okay, are they contributing to my fears? Are they keeping me from experiencing this life that I'm dreaming of? Okay, great. Well, I can change that too. I can get into a new community. I can go find people who believe these things are possible. And when I'm feeling discouraged, all I have to do is look around, because once we can see that somebody else has gone down a road that we're dreaming of, we know it can happen. It's like when people started running the 5-minute mile that they said was so impossible.
Exactly.
And now that has long been broken, right? And it would just took one person breaking through that then allowed others to say it's possible. And if it's possible, all I have to do is learn how to do it, right? And so that is what is so powerful about your story. It's really why It's Your Story to Tell exists, is because I want to share all of these different stories so that people can see that what you believe isn't possible is possible. There is somebody who has walked out really hard things and are living the life of their dreams, because I believe we all have dreams, and those dreams tell us about who we were created to be. And when we deny those things, we don't have joy. we don't have fulfillment. We get burnt out because we're literally just doing it because we think it's what everybody else wants us to do.
Like you touched on it before, you said, leaving your job just felt right. You didn't know why, it just felt right. And I remember before I had kids, I would always be like, it would be so nice to have bilingual children. My husband does not speak my language. But it's just weird, those little pieces of you that are in there that you acknowledge at some point in your life. And now that I'm here, it's like, wow, like that's wild. Like inner me is actually here living in this moment. But you didn't know, but it's in there, like you said. And I would tell people at work, I'm going to move to Greece and just see. They'd be like, oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm so envious. That's so amazing. And then the second you're like, you can do it too. They're like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, I'm not someone special. Like you said, I'm just your regular person who believed in themselves and this feeling that this was what I was supposed to be doing right now. And that pushed me. I can't say I haven't felt it before because nursing school is hard. Something has to drive you. But it was just this belief that this change in this moment and this job shift, this life shift was for me. It was the strangest why, I guess, that I've listened to because it didn't make sense in the framework of living in America and the American dream and the life we're supposed to create. It was completely opposite. It was a crazy feeling to follow and believe in. And, that feeling of putting all your eggs in one basket, it felt like that because I'm very risk averse normally. We didn't travel before this. Having my passport was foreign to me. We didn't go on trips with our kids. All of that. We just up and left.
Wow. That is so exciting. We're going to talk about in part 2 is how you walk it out and how you can come alongside of others. Listeners, continue to tune in. Angela's story is such a powerful reminder that sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is admit when something isn't working. When we admit that something isn't working, it is only then that things can begin to change because we'll start recognizing, wait, there could be a choice here. There are other options. And we're going to talk a little bit more about our reticular activating system in this next episode and how when you just start making that small shift, that your brain starts doing the work to help you to start taking these actions towards this new place. So whether it's a job or maybe it's your lifestyle that you're not feeling fulfilled in, alignment's going to start when you are willing to get honest. And that's what we are seeing in Angela's story and how she took that leap of faith and it opened a whole new way of living. So come back and listen to part 2 where we're going to learn a little bit more about how you can take some of the lessons that Angela shares with us and apply it to whatever it is that you want to get unstuck from. We are excited to help you make your dreams your reality. So thanks, Angela, for sharing.
You're so welcome.